listening to a Sirius XM special event.
That is the situation. That is what is going on. And that is why I stand here blissfully happy.
It's the Stephen A. Smith Town Hall with your host, Karen Hunter.
In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but the elements of provocation, you got to make sure that you address it, because what we've got to do is do what we can to try.
Was there a point during that, because Skipper's sitting there and he's shaking no, right? And because when I say something that I know is a third rail thing, I get like heat in the back of my head.
Right.
And usually I ignore it.
Right.
And that's why, things happen. Did you get any heat in the back of your head? Because I'm feeling that even as I'm listening to this now, that even though you apologize for that there's still a point to be made. That there's still a conversation to be had that we can't have now because you got in trouble.
No, we don't have it. I'm not running. I'm here. Let me be very, very clear. I don't think I have ever been more pissed off in my life than the fallout from that. I was taken off the air for a year or for a week based off of that sound that you just played. I will never blame ESPN for that. I totally understood why they needed to take me off the air. The pressure that was mounting from women throughout this nation based on my comments and how it was interpreted, that's my responsibility. I'm in the communication business. You slip up, which I did, you got to pay the price. But what pissed me off is how it was interpreted, because my history was ignored. Let me be very, very clear to any woman out there that is listening to me. You are listening to a man that has never put his hands on a woman in my life. I was raised. I'm talking violently.
Not violently, right.
That's right. Yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, we were talking about domestic violence. We weren't talking about the other stuff.
All right.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
The point is that I've never harmed a woman. I was raised by 5 women. I have 4 older sisters. I have the most wonderful mother on the planet who raised me never to put my hands on a woman. Where I got tongue-tied, which is why you heard me stuttering more than I've ever stuttered in my life, is because in the midst of telling that story or breaking that down, it was something that was very personal that happened to a female member of my family. A female member of my family had been physically abused. It was many years ago. The man is alive, but y'all don't need to know what happened to him. Let's just say something happened to that brother after he put his hands on my family. But what happened was it was something that had happened repeatedly. In the aftermath of all of that, one day she was alone with him and was so furious with him that she took a pot of boiling hot water and threw it on him while he was asleep. After this man screamed, what do you think he did to her? Because nobody was around. So what I was alluding to while telling that story, and when I mistakenly uttered the word provoke, I did not mean to imply that a woman provokes a man to do something like that to her. What I was trying to explain is that you're alone. You're by yourself. You know the dude is crazy. You know he's unethical. You know he's amoral. You know he's a despicable human being. But if nobody's around to help you, be careful, because who are you with? That's all I was trying to explain. The problem was, in the midst of telling the story, I caught myself because I hadn't cleared it with my family member to tell the story. So because of that is when I got tongue-tied and I uttered the word provoke. And when I uttered the word provoke, the reason why I was so ticked off was because, I have always been adamant against domestic violence. I have a career, New York Daily News, Philadelphia Inquirer, ESPN, Fox before that, CNN before that, where I've repeatedly called out men who have put their hands on women. And all of that was ignored. And colleagues who smiled in my face and were cool and always had nice things to say, I never had any problem, suddenly felt otherwise. One went as far as to say, According to Stephen A., it's okay if I'm raped now because I'm wearing a short skirt, and went on Twitter and said it. It was devastating to me because people who know me, people who love me, people who are familiar with my work know my long-standing position. Think about the world that I live in. I cover professional sports. I've dealt with professional athletes who have made the mistake of putting their hands on women. Ask them what happened to them when they had to deal with me because they made that kind of error in judgment. I've written about it. I've spoken about it. I have a career spanning in excess of 20 years that shows my position on that. And for me to be stained as somebody who would even come close to thinking that that is okay, it is truly the one time in my entire career that I could sit here before a live studio audience and tell you that I was genuinely hurt and felt betrayed by an industry that allowed me to be projected in that way when there is nothing in my history, verbal, physically, or otherwise, that indicates that.
Did it give you a glimpse into your power, right? Because the pile-on usually comes when people are afraid, because you alluded to the fear. And I've seen this in real life, when the gladiator gets down, you see the pile-on, right? And it was an opportunity. So it was a window in to get you.
You can look at it that way. It's probably accurate. I can tell you, for me, I didn't think about it that way.
You just took your 1 week?
All I thought about was this. I went home to St. Thomas. I was taken off the air for a week. I went home to St. Thomas, and I went on the beach, and I sat on a rock. You know how you got in the ocean, you got them rocks there and all that. And I sat on a rock for about 5 hours. I didn't move. And I went through every emotion that you could possibly imagine. And all I thought about once those 5 hours was up, and it was while I was sitting there, I was like, y'all don't even know what y'all have done. As if I needed an additional reason to be motivated. As if I needed an additional reason to come even stronger. As if I needed even another excuse to be even better, more focused, more dedicated, more. I mean, I can't even tell you, if you were my enemy, you don't know what a mistake you made if your objective was to bring me down. You uplifted me. You inspired me. All you did was make me that much more committed to being even better than I ever imagined I was going to be. And as a result of that, my hunger, my zest for life in this industry, my desire to excel, to be elite at what I do, all I could tell you is that I'm a baby at this right now. I'm so motivated. I'm so energized. Like I told you, the only time I'm tired is when I'm literally sleepy. Outside of that, ain't nothing that 7 hours won't cure. And I'm just telling you right now, and in my case, 5 hours, they don't know what they have done.
Get your daily dose. Catch every episode of The Karen Hunter Show on demand. Visit SiriusXM.com/on demand.